A very good morning to all of you all. Myself, Geeta Priya from Services team. As you are aware, we are gathered here to discuss about the caption Audit Ready in Tally.ERP 3.6. So let us have a brief information about what is this Audit Ready and how does Tally help to make the data audit ready by the business owners who are maintaining the Tally data in Tally application. Right? So here we have a brief information. The features, as you heard in Tally.ERP 3.6, the audit and compliance, which was earlier provided only to the practicing chartered accountants for use in audits. So now these features are provided to the customer for keeping the audit data clean before the arrival of the auditor. So the customer can do a pre-check of the data and assure that all is well and ready to be audited. Right? So the feature audit and compliance, as we are aware, we had launched the auditor edition, right? So through that, this was the audit and compliance. The entire audit tool was provided to the auditors practicing chartered accountants, which made their life easy in auditing the books of accounts. Okay? So now, why is this given to the customers in Tally.ERP 9? So as we told, the entire business data is owned and run by the business owner, right? So whenever the final audit happens of his books of accounts, there are various chaoses happening, last time surprises with the auditors, asking for so many evidences, proofs, and a lot of time is spent by the business owner or the responsible person who has done the entire business transactions, and he has to spend a lot of time, and auditor in turn again have to wait a longer time for the arrivals of the proofs or the evidences, the confirmations and all that. Right? So it was at the final stage where the chartered accountant has to undergo all this and finally attestate the financial statements and give the respective legal advices or the whatever the advices as per the business norms and all that. It was then maybe at the time of audit or where the chartered accountants articles were spending time and working on all this. So it made so that as the business owner must know about his data, entire business transactions and all that, and where they can, using this tool, see that what exactly the corrections has to be done before taking to the auditor, where auditor need not spend much time on those corrections which can be done at the customer's point of view. Right? So all I've got a brief information about this, right sir? Shall we continue now? So we'll see, how is this Tally.ERP 3.6 helping a customer to check his business transactions in line with the audit requirements and how I can clean the data and see the data is complete and made audit ready. Right? So this is only the focusing point, Tally.ERP 9, the entire tool as given to the chartered accountant, using the same tool, the features, the owner, business owner or the responsible persons in Tally.ERP 3.6 can start off that checking of the data. They can conduct their internal audits for signing off the correctness of the books of accounts and then take it to the auditor for the final audit and compliance is divided into two sections. What we talk about statutory audit and tax audit. So when we talk about statutory audit, the two important features under statutory audit to be focused are audit and analysis and a financial statement. So audit and analysis, as we all know, it contains many sub-features that can be used by the clients. And we will have a discussion of each sub-features, how it helps the customer and makes his data clean, and there are no any other further dependencies, or it is nowhere the projection happens so that is uncleared or there is some disturbance which is on hold and all that. He completely clears all those informations and keeps it ready for the final check with the auditor. Alright? So we are talking today about the entire audit and analysis. So coming to the point of financial statements, we have scheduled the other sessions on this, like revised Schedule 6 financial statements as formatted by Ministry of Corporate Affairs. In this session, we will not be discussing about the financial statements. So we will check on the entire audit and analysis, how exactly a business owner checks on his business transactions, and how these entire audit and compliance, the various features or the tools available helps him to check on his data rather than just sitting the entire 1 lakh transactions and sitting and verify each and everything. So a tool also helps you to take up the samples and check everything is fine. So now coming to the point of audit and analysis, so there are many sub-features that can be used by the customer. So first point is about verification of our chart of accounts. So as we all know, whenever a business transaction is accounted, before starting that, so we prepare a chart of accounts. So chart of accounts are nothing but your entire masters, the groupings and everything. Using that, you go to the next level of transactions. Alright? So why should we just verify? So let us see this. So this feature provides information on the exceptions found in the chart of accounts. So I have my own business chart of accounts as per my business requirements, and now when you verify and do what exactly should be done, what are the exceptions there. So we have some points like some of these are squared off ledgers. So the meaning of squared off ledgers. So what are those squared off ledgers? Ledgers just having a transaction, neither having opening or closing balances. So what exactly are those ledgers? Have you not, is it not maintain the balances, or how exactly the transactions are done? Missing ledgers. So when you start comparing, whenever I do the verifications, or it is always I focus taking the points from the previous audited finalized books of accounts, or how exactly was my entire business flow or the transactions happened in the previous year, right? So there are certain cases like missing ledgers. So why are these ledgers missed? So you can just verify that and give the genuinity of that and accordingly correct the same in the data. So use and unused ledgers and ledgers not available in the current year. So these are the areas where you business owner can focus. Why are they not used? Are they not required? Are they not interacting with, or not? Are they not running business with them? So they have cleared off, and why should those ledgers be used here? So it creates unnecessary chaos. It may come into mind that these ledgers are accounted, but no transactions are there, no balances are there. So what exactly happened? Where the transactions not accounted, where the balances got deleted, so what all? So all these are the focusing areas where we can just check it. So in this case, the owner, the authorized person who is responsible to check all this, they can just have an internal audit by themselves. Mr. Lakshmi Narayan, sir? Okay, you're asking about to explain this. I have one of the data which has been accounted in case of all this. So when we try to exactly do the verification of the live data, we can just come across these and we can take up the examples. Will that be fine, Mr. Lakshmi Narayan? Okay, thank you. Right? So this is one area where we talk about verification of chart of accounts. So the customer can use the exceptions. So Tally, through the feature of audit and compliance, that is under statutory audit, audit and analysis, will give you the exceptions. So what are those? It just focuses showing what are those missing ledgers when you start comparing with the previous year. You need not just sit on to the entire masters or the Sunday debtors or the Sunday creditors with whom you have done the business dealings in the entire financial year. So through this tool, where there is an exception found, wherein the customer can check into them and audit them and through the clean the data before beginning the audit work. Right? So now we have the other area where we can see verification of stock items, similar to exceptions related to stock items and inventory. The exceptions are differences in opening stocks, stocks with negative closing balances. So why are they negative? Are they not accounted the receipt notes? Are they not accounted the purchases? Right? So stock items are not available in the current year. They were in the previous year. Whether they are in line with the policies, what they have said, whether they can deal with those items, all that comes into picture. So the customer can correct the stock data and keep it ready for audit. Right? So now coming to this verification of balances, the feature verification of balances is an important feature to ascertain if corrected closing balances are carried forward to the current year. So this helps the customer to ensure that the opening balances are correctly recorded in the books of accounts of the current year. So under verification of balances, there is a sub-feature, what we say is Alt-V balance variance. This record helps the customer to generate the variance information in amount and percentage terms. So we have a small example here. The customer can assess the increase, decrease in ledger balances, example, operating expenses, and find the associated reasons for that. The customer can take corrective actions to improve the business operations through cost reduction, increase in incomes, examples of electricity and trade charges. So there are other sub-features with the buttons available, all checked. It is exceptions and control plus O. Opening balance behavior, which will be useful for the customer. The customer can generate the balances mismatched by clicking the exceptions button where it highlights the same. So similarly, the report on ledgers displaying changes in their accounting behavior can be generated by clicking the opening balance behavior button. So we have just run through these verification of chart of accounts, that is the stock items, and the verification of balances. Now let us load the data which is with complete information. Okay, sir, I will try to check this. Now let us move on to Tally application and just check how these three under statutory audit, while you're trying to do your data audit and analysis, and how can this help a customer to clean his data. Alright? Shall we move on to Tally application? Everybody? Alright? So now we'll just so all are able to see this Tally screen, Tally.ERP 9, 3.6, and the latest release is Stat 177, for which we are doing the audit and generating the financial reports. So here, before moving to the auditor or giving this entire data, National Traders Private Limited, to the auditor as a business owner or the person authorized to check on this data, we check. What are the areas where I need to check on this? So how it helps me to clean my data and see that no unnecessary time spent at the chartered accountant's place or chartered accountant's coming here and all that, right? So now we'll just move to this option. So as all are aware, audit and compliance is being an external activity. The data should be compulsorily protected with the security, the password. So here we have the options, gateway of Tally, audit and compliance. So we were talking about the statutory audit. The first point discussed about the audit and analysis. Then we will just talk about what are the other menus available and how are they useful. So let us dig into this audit and analysis. So as we were talking, these are the key areas where we need to just check in, and Tally helps us to check on various areas. It highlights through an exception. So we were talking about verification of chart of accounts. So under that we have these three areas wherein you have to just focus and check what exactly are these. So accounts squared off during the year. Mr. Lakshmi Narayan sir, you were asking about this. Now let me drill down to this and explain you what exactly is this. So when we talk about a squared off ledger during the year, ledgers are used for transaction where when you check them, they neither have an opening balance nor they have a closing balance. Alright? So whenever I try to verify the chart of accounts, you all can see on the right hand side, if you feel it has to be compared with the previous year always, you have to load the previous year and see how this comparison always happens with your previous financial year, right? So here accounts squared off during the year, and here you have in the bracket, this is already your data National Traders Private Limited, which is making ready its data for finalization and ready to give it to the auditors. So now we are drilling down to these areas and checking the same. So here you have in the bracket 19 ledgers are of squared off ledgers, and one is verified, one is not verified. So where the owner himself can check on this. So let us drill down this account squared off during the year. Enter. So if you see, these are the transactions or the masters which is holding the amount, the transaction amount. Can you see this? The entire transaction amount which is not having any opening or closing balances. So here, the moment you highlight, let us take this Varadarajan and Company, or let us take Ramesh loan. So the moment you highlight, we have the various options on the right hand side, as well as you have certain buttons button options getting highlighted. So if you see here, these are the default options. You can either get into group wise details, so what exactly, which group are you looking for, and you have show ledgers. Now we are checking on Ramesh loan, which is having the transaction value of debit 25,000, credit 25,000. You can just check them with the ledger wise also. Click on show ledgers. So if you see here, so it is entirely a receipt and payment entries, right? So we have your payment and receipt entries shown here. So it is showing 17,000, 8,000 was the receipts, and the payment done is 25,000. So where both the debit and credit are knocked off and it doesn't carry any of the balances, right? So here these are the transaction values, and you can directly drill into the voucher entry level, and the focus here are certain options, like you can see, as this is being a Ramesh loan, if you have accounted bill-wise, you can check the bill-wise details, what exactly is. So both debit and credit, and what is the due date period and all this. So go back to the ledger. So now this entire ledger is having such balance, and you can just check. Yes, these can be verified and it is as correct as per your books of accounts. Right? You're able to follow, sir? Everybody? Shall we proceed? Yeah. Thank you. Mr. Lakshmi Narayan, sir? Hello. Now is it clear, sir? Tally Shopper? Voice problem. So, one second. Yeah. Fine, sir. We will continue on this. So, these are the key areas where the owner himself can check rather than auditor saying what exactly are these. Right? And business owner will have a better control on his entire business transaction and what exactly is happening and what needs to be corrected. So here we have an option, verify. You all can just give the comment, yes, it is verified. And verify the entry, it is as per books. And here we have an option, audit details to audit working paper, as we are saying the internal audit can be conducted, and for every activity done by the audit team, it could be an internal audit or external audit, everything should be documented. So this document is nothing but, it is the, is it clear now, sir? Pradeep? Is it clear now, Mr. Pradeep? Shall we continue? No. Can you check at your end, sir, please? Am I audible to all of you all? Hello? Okay, sir. Few of them are able to hear clearly and some are facing problem. Can you please check at your end? Yeah. So try to mute your speakers at your end, sir, so that it will be audible. Shall we continue? Voice is distracting. Okay. Now is it fine? Okay. So this section, actually, we have an option here, copy audit details to audit working paper. We will just, see, this is nothing but, it comes under the section of audit documentation. For every act of audit, whatever you do or verify, what exactly you are doing with the data, for each and everything, there should be a detailed information what act has been done. So it will be automatically updated in the audit working paper. So here we have the right hand side, the audit working papers. We can just check. I'll just tell you all how this option comes. Okay, so shall we proceed? So here I'm saying, please copy this act, whatever I have done. So I am not keeping this on hold. I am saying it is verified. Verify the entry, it is as per the books. So I am saying, please copy this particular act, whatever I have done, to audit working paper. Once I am saving this, so the option verified comes under verification status. Alright? So space bar. Later if you feel, no, this was wrongly verified, you can give the option of remove verify. Right? And now we have the option here, audit working paper. So the moment which we did, it was Ramesh loan, unsecured loans, under the scope of verification of chart of accounts, who actually did this, and you have the option of coming over here. Right? So all are able to follow? So this is the report where you can see what exactly has happened to this particular entry. Right? Yeah. So here you have certain options in the drill down. Either you can multiply check all the entries and verify and view. So when we talk about the allocation of the work and all that, so it is to be designed in the audit documentation. We'll just move towards that later. Let us understand the key area, how exactly an entry is drilled down and what are the details. Okay, why it is showing restored? Yeah, so whenever I say remove verification, right? So it goes back to the restored, means it is in the original position. That is the meaning of this. Mr. Hazard, computer, right? So here the caption or the text, restored means the original thing. So who was verified earlier and why have they moved as restored? All the details can be checked over here. So as I'm saying, each and every act, whether you verify, don't verify, if you are trying to do something on that particular entry, all these details has to be updated in your working paper. Right? So these are the options used and it will reflect you the complete information and the other person who drill down into this and can check what exactly or who was exactly acted on this particular entry. Clear, sir? Shall we proceed? Yeah. So this is how just getting into any of the particular ledger masters, you all can just go through the entire information. Now here we have one option called master configuration. Right? So this we will be talking about this later. So what is this master configuration? We have here 4 options: micro, small, periodic payments, related parties and all that. So suppose here if you feel they are into Sunday data, accreditas with whom you are trying to have a business, to which particular section they belong to, whether it is micro, small, medium, the small scale industries or business people, you can't hold their payment for more than 45 days. So the maximum credit period allowed is 45 days. So you can completely have a track. So what was within 45 days, why was it not paid, or why have you not received and all that. So these are the master configuration. You can just select them and see how this happens. And we have an option called periodic payments and receipts. So if you feel there is a regular payment on that, if you feel, for example, office rent, it's a periodic payment. Every month you have to pay, alright? So when you check the data for the entire year, you can have 12 transactions for the same, right? So that you do not entirely sit for each and every entry and do the verification and all that. So when it is marked as it is a periodic payment, it is understood that the entire transactions for 1 year will be so many transactions, right? And here we have the other options, related party. So what is this related party? So we all are into business. When we do a business, so it so happens that you have an external person or who manages the business. You tie up with your co-partners, or it could be your sister concerns, or where they are involved in the business, right? So this should be clearly informed, and fair protection should be done to just avoid the undue favorism to the relatives who are being involved in your business relationship, what you do. So we have our own sister concerns getting involved in the business and all that. So whether we are abide with the rules and regulations or the policies set, and where there is no any favorism done to the sister concerns who are involved in the business, right? It is just to project the fair and clear information and to show that there is no any favorism done, right? And here we have the other option called sampling methods. So sampling methods, as I was saying, I have entire 5 lakh transactions. So it is not possible to sit and check each and every entry or the entire transactions and see that the data is correct and ready for audit, right? So we can always have a sampling method. So we have a predefined sampling methods, and we can use those sampling methods. If not required, you can still have your own manual sampling methods and check them and do the verification and auditing of the same, and then keep the data ready. Right, sir? Right? So as and when we drill down into these configurations, we will come to know how exactly the configuration can be done for these masters. Right? Shall we proceed? Clear? Can I please respond to chat? Yeah, thank you. So this is all about your account squared off during the year. Now, we have the other options here. If you check, there we have something called working note. If you just click on this, so audit working paper, how this option comes? I'll just press F11. F11. We have an option. The F11 features. We have the option F5, that is the audit. So just show you all that. So how this audit working paper comes. So this is how you can have a verification, remove verification, and coming to the working note. So what exactly is the working note? Now you are trying to drill down to the master level. So here, if you feel this particular ledger you have checked on this and you are trying to give a working note what exactly the work is done, and if the other person looks into this, they can always refer to this note, right? So the other 2 options we'll just check when we do the exact, when we move on to the exact screen. Clear about this? What is this account squared off during the year? Now we will move on to the other one. Similarly, the other options are available here, not used. So suddenly there are certain list of ledgers which are not used. So this actually creates an unnecessary chaos. It is true that if you have stopped transacting with that particular party, you have splitted the data and the party has come and they don't have any balances, or what exactly is this? Why are these appearing? If you are not used, please verify them and remove them from the data. Right? So here you have to, when you're trying to check it, first you will verify whether this particular party is involved in the business, is there no transactions is done, or is there any closing opening balances not accounted and all that, and directly you have an option to delete them. Clear? So if you feel that it has to be verified, always highlight them and go for the verify option. It will show you, and if you feel that you want to check if any transactions available and all that, so directly you can delete. So click on this Alt-T, you have an option, delete selected, means all these ledgers are not required to be shown. Alright? So now coming to this key area, only balances, no transactions. So what exactly it is, why is this showing? So for all these, moving on to the navigation buttons, you all have to select this. Now, it is showing the entire master balance, that is basic excise duty, or if you just move on to any of the party ledgers, if you see RR Krishna showing something 40,000 debit balance. So what is the debit balance? Why are the transactions not accounted? So you all can just go to your highlight this option. You can select the multiple options also. So just go back. So here if you just go to this RR Krishna, so please note this is one of the data National Traders Private Limited for last financial year 11 and 12 for which we are doing the audit, right? So before that, what are the precautions we can do is take care and see using this particular audit and compliance tool. So here on highlighting, you can either go to the ledger-wise details. One second. Let us go to any of the options where it gives you the entire. So here again, you have this master configuration now belonging to any of this particular balances. So it will show you the entire, let us say, here you have the option show ledger. It will take you to the transaction level. Check on the same and verify and what exactly the balances. Is that I didn't account the opening balances for the same, or where the opening balance is deleted and where the transactions not accounted? You all can just check on the same, right? So similarly, you can add working note as and when the process of verification and audit. So always drilling down to the entry, it will take us to the transactions level, and accordingly the owner can check on those, right? So this is how the key areas we have given. So coming to the other, revenue ledgers having opening balances. As we all know, the revenue account, the expenses, everything will just have a closure, so which will not have a carry forward option, process or where we clear it. But if you check, there are some revenue ledgers accounts having balances. So you all can just monitor what exactly is this particular revenue ledgers having, get into the ledger wise and transaction level and try to do the audit of the same and refer what exactly this difference is and what is this opening balance brought forward from the previous period. Right? So option just highlight and do the verification of the same. So coming to used only in current year. So what are these ledgers used in current year which were not present in the previous year? So it's only a check on how these parties have been involved in the current financial year and what is the values in the transactions. Accordingly, they can verify the same. Right? So now we'll move on to the other section, that is verification of balances, verification of stock items. Similarly, like how you're verifying your masters, which is having the balances or the transactions. If you just click here, as we were talking, negative stock, not used, used only in current year. So why can it be a negative stock? How can it be a negative stock? So it shows that either they have not accounted for the purchase or receipt, or they have not complied with the complete order processing cycle. You can drill down to the item wise. Why are these items showing in negative? Have they not accounted? So accordingly, they can have a verification of the same. So it also displays negative stock day-wise. So why was this not accounted? You can drill down to that level and see why was it not accounted. So under that, what are the related items? This is all with your entire stock details coming up here. Right? So under verification, similarly, like how you had ledgers not used, now not used stock items also. The items names are created, but why are they not used? Means is it having any balance, or they are actually dealt by the business and all that, so they can have a clarity on this. Right? So it was it unnecessarily created a stock item and used only in current year? Similarly, what are these stock items suddenly appearing in the current year? Are they authorized to deal with those items? Clear? So this is all about your verification of chart of accounts and the stock items. Now coming to the verification of balances. So if you just click here, so these are the various balances which is having the opening balance, the transaction debit credit balance, and finally the closing balance. So we need to have a clarity on this, what exactly is the balances and why is it appearing with a different value, correct? So Tally will help you in identifying them if there is a difference on the same where there is no match with your debit credit and comparing with the opening balance. So here we have an option, exceptions. We can just click here and check out these exceptions. So what exactly is this particular? If you check here, profit and loss account shows a debit balance of 18 lakhs and then credit balance of 1 lakh, and what is this exactly of 17 lakhs. So you can drill down to the ledger-wise details and check what all has been debited to the entire profit and loss account and what is this exact balance. Right? So here I'm not checking entire 1 lakh transactions. Correct? So Tally identifies what exactly is this. So you all can just drill down to any of the options. So if you take the example of Eurosoft here, we have some opening balance, debit credit values, and then the closing balance here. So you all can just drill down to that and check what exactly are these transactions. So transaction 11, it goes with your auditing and then finalizing, saying this is correct. So at the master level, we check on these. What exactly is this closing balance? So you all can have a group wise, how it is grouped and which group it is under. And now coming to the point of variance. So if you just click here, balance variance, how much difference is it happening? So when I start comparing with these balances, we were talking about Eurosoft, right? So if you take this particular balance of 26,530, and is there any difference at the when you compare with your previous years? Okay, so here these are the ledger masters which are used in the current year, and now it shows about 26,530. If there are any, sir, you're asking something. Do we have to open previous year company? Exactly. So we can just have a comparison. I'm just checking with the new letters which is having in the current year. Here we have an option compare company. Just select my previous company here. Okay. The moment you select the previous company, here we have the option of verification of opening balances. Right? Just click on this and it shows comparing with your previous year. If you see the first part, capital account, it is showing the correct balance, right? It has become the opening. Now if you check this loans and liabilities, there is a difference, right? So this is how we can compare. Yeah, exactly. So here we are talking if there are only transactions or the ledgers with the used only in the current year. If I just click on only the exceptions, it shows all in red color. So these are the key areas where it is showing difference. So why exactly it is showing the difference? Are they are not accounted it properly, or that they can check in and clean the data. Right? Clear, sir? Shall we proceed? Everybody? Okay, thank you. So whatever act you do here, highlight it and do for this. We have the verification. First you verify your chart, that is the master, entire groups and all that. Then this is the second level of auditing it. Clear? So here, so this is all about your verification of balances. Now coming to the part of analytical procedure. So what exactly is this analytical procedure? So if we talk about the probabilities, comparing a group, the expenses or the incomes with other groups, you can have a clarity on what is the high variation or the percentage involved in it. So we'll just check what exactly it is. Hello? Is it clear now, sir? We are just going. Okay. The same thing we have covered on the verification of balances. Now let us see what exactly this analytical procedure is. This is the entire this thing. So we'll just check that. Now we'll just open Tally here. Just click on this analytical procedure. Here, the moment you enter on it gives you a probability. So when I compare my sales to the sales promotion cost, what is involved, you can have a probability and accordingly have the corrective measures or the improvements in your business. Now, for example, if I take here group to group comparison, the base group could be anything, sales, let us say sales accounts, with my sales promotion, sales tax payable. So it's for the 2 years. So if you just check here, still you can go for the advanced comparison. Let me say the group indirect expenses with the group indirect incomes. And still you can have a advanced comparison, what are the cost categories, cost centers involved. And here if you see, comparing to your entire year, there is a variance showing when you compare with actually what was in your previous year and now how the variance is increased in the current financial year. The year which you are doing the audit. So here if you see analytical procedure, it's nothing but it gives you a probability and comparing with one group to the other, or what exactly the comparison you would like to see and what is the variance and how exactly I have to bring that high variance and see what are the improvement points. Alright? So here you have these options. Having a comparative study and drawing conclusions, right? So this is all about the analytical procedure. Now coming to the option of pending documents. So it is a common trend that we always have the outstandings, right? Either we have to pay or we have to receive it. Or we have, in case of the inventory management, where they maintain the complete purchase and sales cycle, you all can check on these, the purchase orders, the sales orders which are pending, the reasons for why it is pending, have they not accounted for it, have they not tracked it with the correct references, right? So the owner himself can drill down to this and check why this is exactly not accounted and see that the same is corrected. Similarly, when we talk about the receivables, which is very focusing thing and a very tedious thing to have a continuous follow-up to get the payments and all that. So here, again, we can see we have some amounts pending, which are pending for longer, having debit balance and all that. Here, still we have an option to check on these exceptions. So why are they not paid? Why are they not received? Accordingly, you can drill down to the entry level and see what exactly the due dates and how long this particular receivables is pending. You can still have a age-wise, how old is this particular, and have you accounted all on accounts, have you not tracked to the relevant bills. Accordingly, these details can be checked by the business owner or the responsible person before taking all this to the auditor, right? Is it not useful to the customer, sir? You all have to say, partners. Yes or no? Right? Exactly. So, owner himself, who actually depends on the data entry people and all that, he himself have a clarity on how exactly the entire business transactions have been maintained in Tally. Right? So, similarly, you have for the tables also here. Why are these payments not paid in time, or what are the reasons exactly? All this can be screened out and kept the data clean with clear information as and when the auditor asks during the final audit. Yes, sir, you would like to speak something? Computer? Okay, just hold on, sir. Computer, sir, shall we take up the question and answer session once we are through with the flow? Alright, I'll definitely give that. And we'll see what exactly you all wanted to ask and discuss on that, sir. Will that be fine, sir? Thank you. So now coming to the statutory payments, as we all know, the statutory payments, the risky, scary. The moment you don't pay within the due date, you are supposed to pay it out with the penalty, the interest rate and all that. So here, if you configure the entire features used in Tally, if your company, the business is complied with the statutory, various statute, that is statutory payments, if your business is involved into excise or service tax, or value-added tax, or maintaining the entire payroll feature, wherein you have to be abide with the statutory norms with respect to your professional tax, the provident fund deductions, the employee state insurance. So all those information is reflected in a single report over here. So here the owner himself can check and have a clarity why was this excess paid, the reason for paid, and all the details, and can verify on these areas. Right? And the payment due can also be made on time. Right? So this is all about your statutory payments. Now coming to the periodic payments and receipts. As I was saying, under that SQL master configuration, periodic payments and receipts. So all the transactions or the masters which is just marked as, it is a periodic pledge. So it occurs every month. So it has a even amount, or if there is, if you have made any provisions, you can still have a check on this which is reflected in red color. Means you have accounted, or last year the balance was there and you have not accounted for this year, what exactly is this, and then they can drill down to the entry and check it is the opening balance or what exactly they have to do. Right? So ledger-wise also can be checked in. It will take exactly with the transactions and the information. So all these are the periodic payments and receipts to be counted and makes very clear to the users to identify what are the periodic payments and how they can have a track of them. Right, sir? Is that clear? Shall we proceed? Yeah. Now let us move on to this repeated transactions. So before checking what are these repeated transactions, so every business owner or the business transactions involves a regular payments to their employees in case of conveyance or transportation who are involved in the service oriented. They're always on the on-site services. So what exactly are these transactions? Focus will be why are these transactions are repeated so many times? Could there be a duplication of the same or what exactly? So you can just check these. If you take up the transportation and packing charges, you have the repeated amount for the entire transaction 252525. So it's a regular payments done. So how exactly it is accounted? Are they correct? So here under F12 options you have the filtering focus also. Here the other options are all the same, and with your default functions, if it is a bank transaction, the entire banking options comes up. Now here, these are the repeated transactions which just comes up. You can see the total number of vouchers for this particular amount. First option, transportation and packing charges, shows 2,500 and it has 24 numbers of vouchers. Right? So what is this 24 times has been accounted for this 2,500? You can vouch for the same and get into the transaction level and check for the same. So in S12 we have the options because the same amount, the same party may be involved at different dates or same date and values party. Value being same, party and date may be different. So accordingly you can have a filter of the same and give the amount. I want to have a filter to amount from this to this so that I can drill down and check the same. Right? So equal to, show counts equal to. So all this can be accounted, and here you have same total voucher decreasing, increasing or default entries. Accordingly, you can have a filter of the same. Right? So this is all about your repeated transaction. Now coming to this relative size factor. So that is what it explains here. What is exactly repeated? So it's actually going to the entire business scenarios. We'll just explain you what exactly that relative size factor is. So relative size factor, it reflects the business transactions having the highest value and the second highest value, right? So wherein we can just have a focus what exactly this particular transaction is and how, what is the highest value and the second highest value. So what is the reflection of the same in my books of accounts, and when I need to have a focus of the same, right? So let us just drill down to that relative size factor and check what exactly this shows. So here we have the explanation. Relative size factor, this feature allows the customer to find data entry errors, recording of accounts to wrong ledgers. So this is a Forcenic audit tool. The report computes the ratio of the first highest to the second highest amount debited to an account. So it's the range detecting errors for correction. Right? So now let us drill down to this data entry and check what exactly is this particular relative size factor. Right? So here we can drill down to any of this option. Here you see a relative size factor. It shows the Size. What exactly is the size when comparing to your highest value and the second highest value? Now, if you just click on this electricity charges, you all can see here the transaction for this year 11-12. It is showing the variation just goes like this. From 2 it became 3 and finally it became 50,000. Is it not? So here the formula for relative size factor shows us the highest value 50,000 divided by the second highest value 3019, and it shows the relative size factor is 16. So what exactly is this? How suddenly it has grown to such high value? According to the, we can have a focus of this and check how this has been, and accordingly the business owner can have a check on this and verify it. Right? If it is genuine and fine, and he accordingly justifies the same and checks it and makes it clear in the data entry. So this is all about your relative size factor. Now coming to the other analysis. So what are these other analysis? So here if you see some more analysis where you can check and see the data is kept clean. Now when we talk about interbank transactions, here the focusing points here is like all intrabank transactions, the transaction bank date, once you have done a reconciliation of this, what exactly is this, why was the delay, it would have happened on the same transaction date itself, and what exactly the delay and all that, you can drill down to the entry level and do the audit of the same. Right? So this is all about your interbank transactions. So if you feel you want to check in the ledger-wise details transactions, you can have the account of the same information and the same can be checked in. Right? So now coming to this cash withdrawals and deposits to bank. So here you have a regular account having 12,65,000 total 9 vouchers. So what exactly is this? You can go to the show ledger wise and it will show you the entire transactions and you can have a check on the same. Right? So as these being a banking transactions, you get the entire options of your banking options. The multi-check printing, deposit slips and all those options. You want to act on the verification or auditing part, just add paper. Clear? Now coming to the fixed asset analysis, what are the additions, what are the depreciations happened? So have we accounted? Is there any assets disposal happened? All that information can be checked on this particular fixed analysis. So here if you check, let us move to this land and building. It says an opening balance of 14 lakhs and later there was an addition and later there was a deduction and adjustment and the closing balance is residing at this. So here you can check what exactly are these, if there are any exceptions. So you can drill down to this particular transaction level and check what exactly are these exceptions and why is this validation of the same, the additions or the adjustments, and what is the method of depreciation if they are accounted, right? And all that can be had through the fixed asset analysis. Now, transactions on holidays. So we all can see. Shekhar sir, you're asking something. What is the number of days? What about capitalizations? Yeah, all that if the additions it would have been done. That's what I'm talking about, sir. If you're doing it or you're trying to dispose of, you move it to a stock in trade and then try to sell it off, right? Ghost, sir, yeah. And the fixed assets, how do we classify? So what exactly you're trying to ask me, sir? What do you want to classify? Shekhar, sir? What do you want to classify? Okay, we'll just take up this question session at the flow, once we complete the flow. Okay, capitalization during the year. Fine, sir. You want to have a record of that displaying? That is what you are asking, sir? Mr. Ghosh? Okay, fine, sir. We'll just check on this. Whereas here we have only the analysis part of what is the additions for the fixed assets involved in the business. Now let us move to this transaction and holidays. As we all know, during audit days also, we have companies working, right? So need to have a clarity why exactly these business transactions were done when in a holiday, when it was a public holiday and all that. So coming in point of view of customers, that will be the focus. It also helps us to allocate the works during the internal audit or by the audit to check on these areas, assigning of the work to his article clerks. And here it gives you reason for holiday. It was a weekly off, May Day, all the transactions you have been. The entire business transaction still, I have to have a record of the holiday transactions. Just think there was a bank holiday and the bank transactions have been accounted. Right? So all those can be highlighted and the data can be corrected before taking to the auditor. Clear? So here you have an option, holiday count, right hand side. You can check and plan accordingly if you are working on that particular day, and the entire transactions can be shown. The focus here is to allocate the work given on your weekly off, or if the company is planning to have a planning to open the company and run the business, you can accordingly have the transactions done. So this is all about your transactions and holidays. Now let us talk about highest and lowest value transactions. So what is the highest and what is the lowest value transaction? So the common tendency would be like this. If you just take a small example, like if I am submitting any of the bills where the business refunds me the amount, the focus will be on the highest value. Right? It is like they need to check on that, what is this exactly, high amount and all that. So now you can have a clarity. It was just started with a rupee and it has gone to 1 lakh rupees. So what exactly is the difference? What is the rate and what they have to work on this? So here we have few transactions. The entire master level, go to the show ledger wise and check what was the amount of difference and why it has been accounted. So here we will just go to any of the transactions. It just shows you what was the highest value and lowest value, what is the difference and what is the difference range, whether it is very big, whether it is not so big, or it is okay when comparing. So it shows suddenly here if you check sale AMC for computers 10,000 and 20,000. So it will also goes, sir, you're asking if by mistake an asset goes to revenue account, how to find it out. Okay. So we will take up these, sir. Please list out your queries here. And we have Mr. Shah asking about how many data is about 10,000. This filter is also available. If you just press F12 here, you can see here ledger with rate equal to, greater than, less than. You all can have the entire filter as required, sir. Right, Mr. Shah? Is it clear? So it's all not only with your debtors, even for your entire suppliers to whom you have to pay, where the credit limit or the credit period is crossed, you can still have the record of the same. So in always, whenever you go to a screen, the option for F12, the configuration to explore more options is always available. You all have to just explore those options and check your requirements. So this is all about your highest and lowest value transactions, so which helps the businessman to respective actions. So now coming to these pending advances, if you have taken account which is loans and advances which has come into your business, or you are supposed to get it, and all that. So here also you can have a filter. These are the key areas where I need to check on this. Global associates, if you just drill down, it says payment of so and so. So what exactly is this? You can drill down and check for the same. So now, coming to sales checks instruments, what is a sales check? So sales check is nothing but the check which is being crossed the validity period. So you can, as a business owner, can have a check or the track performing. Checks are to be cleared or within this period of validation and all that. You can just click on this sales check. So it says we have a Canara Bank transaction total 3,16,000, total vouchers remaining 7. So how old are these? Age by days. So if you check here on the main screen, if you see here sales check instrument ledger Canara Bank. And the validity period shows 6 months. So it was the previous validity period. Now RBI has changed to 3 months. You can just have a filter of this validation period 3 months. So for the entire list, it appears like this. So among these checks like Canara Bank, HDFC bank details, you have so many transactions within this particular 3 months old. So you can accordingly audit the same and account it and see that so none of these checks are being stale checks. So now coming to this external confirmation third party. So here you have an option. If you are doing an internal audit, say from customer point of view, if you feel that sufficient evidences are not available either internally available in the business or the party has not given you the bill or something, you can always mark for confirmation. So now I'm just saying about from the point of view of customers. If you talk from the point of view of auditors to whom you are giving the books of accounts, if he needs a third-party confirmation, he can always have this option marked and so that the actual business owner takes action on that and see that whatever confirmation the auditor is asking is reaching him. Alright? So I'll just show how the business owner comes to know about his activity, what exactly the auditor does and all that. So here think that this AdView consultant you are marking for confirmation. It's only that you will highlight space bar. So we usually ask for the confirmation on the balances amount, whether the same amount is reflected in their books of accounts, right? So here you can just have a mark for confirmation. So click on assets, that is mark for confirmation. So it says mark for confirmation yes. So now I am saying as yes. Now who will on what basis I will say that it is confirmed and all that? Who is going to act on this? I'll just show you all that. That is through other navigation report from statement of accounts. Right? So think that external confirmation is asked for this particular party. So it could be internally by the customer or it could be by the auditor. Now I'll just go back. Now I'm going to display statement of accounts. So here we have an option audit and compliance information where it is required to act on this. So we were talking about statutory audit information. Click on this. So here you can have this option external confirmation third party. The same configuration. The moment I click here, you can see Akshaya Trust is asked for the external, the party is asking, it could be audited or internally I am asking for the external confirmation. So within Tally itself, you can just ask for the confirmation. We'll just see how this can be done, right? I'm neither going to that party and asking or neither I'm calling or I'm sending some person there and all that. Just highlight this. Here you have an option, mark request send. So how about you sending the request? Yes, request sent, I can say mail the document or sent a courier. It's only a confirmation required for this particular Akshaya Trust. So, do you want to print? The moment I configure for that, you have an option. Do you want print or export? If I say no, it will just save your remarks. Now, again, if you try to check on this, if I say print, yes, you can see here, print confirmation letter, yes, along with the statement of accounts, you can directly send the statement of accounts to him. Either you can send it as mail or you can take a printout of the same, and let's see what exactly this confirmation letter says. So it is writing directly to Akshaya Trust. Dear Sir, Madam, our auditor so-and-so are asking for the confirmation on this. Please confirm this. Okay, so he will directly confirm to the person who has asked for the confirmation. Right? Any doubt here, sir? Is it clear about this? Shall we proceed? Yeah. So now I'm going back to the audit and compliance. So here, even as a business owner, he can always configure the holiday calendar. This is under statement of accounts. Audit and compliance information where he can plan his business work. And coming to these 2 points, we'll just discuss on this. Now going back to this audit and compliance. Audit and analysis, right? So other analysis we were in the section. So we completed about external confirmation, third-party confirmation. Now coming to this account reconciliation. So previously it was a confirmation, right? In our books of accounts, against your ledger, so much amount is there. Please confirm if this is correct. Now what I do, I'm not asking the third-party confirmation. I myself am doing the reconciliation of the account. So we are heard about bank reconciliation, right? So now talking about account reconciliation, it is like I have involved in a business by with Mr. A. So Mr. A's ledger is created in my books of accounts and some amount is appearing against his ledger name. As A is involved in my business, my ledger account will be in his books of accounts, right? The account value should match. So here what I do, I'm not asking for the third party confirmation. I'm directly taking the data of the third party and doing the account reconciliation to check against his name what is the amount appearing here. Same amount should be appeared in his books of accounts against my ledger name. Right? Let us just see this account reconciliation. Now, this is the National Traders Private Limited. We will take an example of a party. New Horizon or Horizon Systems. Horizon Systems. So Horizon System is holding some amount. Now we want to just check whether this particular amount against his ledger in my books of accounts is appearing same against his ledger on his books of accounts. So now we will select this National Traders. Sorry, here I need to select. Let me just load. Here I need to select whether the same ledger amount is appearing in the Horizon system. We'll just load that company. Okay. Just only 2 companies. We'll just select that company also. Here we have a Horizon system. Let us see if the same ledger value is appearing. So through National Traders Company, we were checking on this particular account reconciliation to see whether the ledger accounts are matching in both the books of accounts. So this is all about your account reconciliation. So we selected Horizon Systems, right? Now I'm loading the ledger provided the company is loaded, Horizon Systems, is it not? So here in the Horizon Systems company, my ledger name, that is National Trader, should appear, and you can see here in Horizon Systems it is showing a debit balance, and in National Traders it is showing a credit balance. So both I am doing the account reconciliation to get the clarity of how exactly we, right? Now I myself loaded the data and checked on these balances. So this is all about your account reconciliation. Clear, sir? Shall we proceed? Everybody, are able to follow? Can you please respond to chat? Thank you. Okay. Now, if you feel fine, you are just showing me the ledger balances. Now, what about the transaction? You all can just. We will take it up, sir. Computer, sir. We will take up the question answer session. I'll give you all 15 minutes of time. Okay. Now, if you feel the transactions has to be we have to ask the customer data for reconciliation. So in this case, if you feel that it is your asking for data, they may not give you the data, right? So the function design here is thinking that I'm an auditor, I audit all the books of accounts and the data are available. The entire client's data are available with it. So both are mutual business owners, and in that way I have checked. So your question is, if I want to do an account reconciliation, I need to get the data. Yes, sir. If they are not giving the data, so you always have the other option, just ask for the confirmation of the. Exactly. You're right. So now, we'll just go back here, and we have the other option. Account reconciliation is with your ledgers. Now, if I take horizon system, now you feel that I don't want to check on the ledger balances, I want to check on the transactions. So here, you must have transactions into this, and you can always have the reconciliation of your transactions also. Right? Transaction-wise and confirming your ledger account. Okay? And this is all about your other analysis. It is through XML only, sir. It is from Tally to Tally, right? Yeah. So here, this is all about the focusing point here. Other analysis. So the audit and analysis, it's the dashboard which gives you the complete information. What exactly are the key areas I need to check on this. Alright? So now if you move to the start auditing, so let's say we have done certain verification of the masters and then drilled into the entry levels and checked all these information, and as in when you do the audit, the respective columns gets confirmed here. Let us take on this. So, as we all know, verification of vouchers, the entire default vouchers available in Tally, if you have used them for your transactions, or if you have created your user-defined vouchers, each and every voucher has to be checked. Is it not? For checking or verifying your transactions and then taking to the audit part. Now, here you can see, now I have so many voucher types and it is involving so many transactions. Now here you can always have the sampling. So how much I can pick them. So the method of sampling here is, firstly, let us see, it is, we have an option show samples. So what are the samples available here? Show samples, click on this configuration. Here, when I say, yes, boss, I have so many voucher types and so many transactions booked in my business books of accounts. So I need to have a sample. Let me pick them and do the process of verifying and all that. So here we have the methods of sampling. All vouchers, amount range, Benford analysis, it's just with respect to your negative and positive values, even numbered vouchers, odd numbered vouchers, specific period if you're trying to check and verify them, and specific code vouchers. If you want to do only the cash payments, only the credit transactions, you can still have the details that through this method of sampling. Right? Now, if you feel you don't want any of these sampling, you can always have a option. If you just go to this particular excise stock, you can see here, you can always mark them as a manual sampling if required. Mark as manual sampling, you can drill down to the entry level and mark them as a transactions. For entire March, if I am selecting as manual sampling, so the manual sampling is set. This is for your attendance details, and the entire March vouchers will be sampled vouchers, that is manual vouchers. here, the entire attendance has changed to sample method as manual. If you feel you don't want this, you can always go and choose the relevant sampling methods given in Tally. Okay, so this is all about your sampling, how you set and how you choose it, and finally how you do it and say audited vouchers. Now, the other section here, as I was saying, talking about the related party transactions and small, micro, medium enterprises, how all these can be mapped. It is, if I just drill to this related party transactions, so if I take all transactions here, the moment I take it, it is respect to your parties, sundry debtors, creditors, you have an option to just take it as related party over here. Right? Just highlight that and you can click on update. Yes, is related party is, you can just give a sister concern, any of the relation, what exactly it is, and the same will be updated over here. And drill down to that level, it will show you the transactions done with this particular related party, that is sister concern, and see that it is unbiased and no favorism is done. So this is how you can have a configuration for your entire business parties. Right? And now here we are talking about this entire forex transactions. If you use the multi-currency option features, and accordingly you can drill down to the entry level and check for the correctness of the same. How was these exchange rates accounted and what exactly the transactions done. Now coming to the small medium transactions. So here you have the sundry debtors who are belonging to any of these particular. As you drill down, it will just take your. So if it is micro small, once you're configuring, it says these particular sundry debtors are belonging to micro, which has a default credit days of 60 days. Some have 45 days, the small enterprises. Right? You all can just update these options, whether you want to configure, click on update, to which they belong, whether medium, micro, small, accordingly you can give these details to see that the correct and fair information is projected. Alright? So do what? You can just say blank and it just becomes blank. Or here we always have an option called restore default, means show to the, go back to the original position. Right? So this is all about yours. Now coming to salary wages payment. If you use the entire payroll feature, here you can have the complete information about your payroll to check on what exactly the wages payments summary at a single sheet here. So what is this balances in minus figures and how exactly it has been? The entire payroll, pay heads and everything comes into this particular sheet. So here, as a business owner, can have a single live view on this and have the clarity on the entire payroll policy, system followed or the transactions done. Right? So this is all about your audited analysis through statutory audit. Every company running business registered under Companies Act 1956 must fulfill and must go abide in this process to have a correct books of accounts and have a thorough check on all this information. Right? So here we were talking about how this audit working paper comes. Just press F12 here. F11 features. So here you have an option called tax audit, right? F5. Just click on this. You can see here, we were talking about the right-hand side option. Enable audit priorities or enable audit working paper. It is under the audit documentation, right? And how important is this particular entry or a master to be? Okay, Sanjay sir, you're asking, can I find a transaction of changing amount like any bill may mark the 1,000 rupees and any user change to 1,000 to 1,000? See, this is normal, your securities, right, sir? See, just changing an amount or you would have, during verification and auditing you're talking about, Mr. Sanjay, there should be a security for that, right? So one would have corrected it saying it's 1000 and the other person corrects it as saying 1200. Is that you're saying? There should be a security, right? We are working on that. See, when we talk about it as the entire default security, if you're not giving any access to your data entry person to do all this, right? It is the authorized person we are to whom you are giving this. Okay, so here these are the two options which has to be enabled to get the details onto your working paper. Right, now we'll just move on to this audit documentation. It is the entire auditor's section where we can see the entire history. After he has done the entire audit and analysis, he can have a program filled if he is trying to audit the books of accounts, who does, which area of sections can be audited, all that information. He can create the members to who is responsible to do the audit of this particular company, what is the status of the company, all this. So as this is focusing on the auditor point of view, as the tool is available to the the users, if they are planning for an internal audit, they can have an allocation of the work, who exactly will take up which task, and they can plan them. Right? So here, if at all you see, by default you have the list of audit areas, you can accordingly select them, and if you wanted, you all can create new one. Let us say verification and audit of credit transactions. Credit entries. So here, the moment you select the area of audit, it shows how much time is involved to do this, who is responsible, how far they are verifying this and all that. So if you feel the entire team members are tied up, you can still have a creation of the new member here. So here, we have just shown as audit team, and as it was the auditor's tool given earlier, if you as a customer wanted to work on your entire data and have the thorough check on the data, still you can go ahead do the planning of the same, right? So still here we have the certain capabilities allowed for the chartered accountants through control center, and as we all know, it is a multi-user package, and in 3.6 the tool is available for the customer at his end to just have the verification of the same. Right? So verification remarks, how far they have verified, what exactly the remarks, and who is the other reviewer of the same. All this information can be captured here. Right? So this is how. And now here we have for every screen there is a copy program. If you feel that you have 2-3 companies for which you have to allocate the work for your authorized persons and which area they check and all that, you can always have a copy of this program once designed if it is related to the same nature of business or same set of people are working on the same areas, and they wanted to have a program for the same. It is nothing but my planning, work plan, what I do to start off the audit. So this is all about your audit program. Now, auditor's report, it is like once everything is done, he is going to give this report in writing. So here, this is again editable. You have various options. The moment you highlight, you have the option to remove, delete, restore, and copy the entire audit report to the other companies, just changing only the company data and information. Right? So this is all with respect to the auditor. Now coming to this annexures to auditor's report. So these are the various key areas or the supporting informations where at the time of auditing I have to check in. If at all I take the area of fixed assets, if you get into detail mode, you can see here when I talk about fixed assets, it is all these. I need to have a thorough check, maintenance of proper records, physical verification and all that. It is with respect to the final consent. Or when I do an internal audit also, I need to check all these clauses, key areas, and see that the reports have been updated. So these are nothing but the annexures to company's auditor's report order, which gives you the complete information how you've gone and you've followed in line. Right? Now coming to the point of accounting standards. So here we have, whenever I start checking a particular data entry, it is very much important to check if they are abide with the various accounting standards, the checklist, as governed by the Companies Act, and accordingly say if this particular clause is applicable, the accounting standards is to be abide by those business areas. If they are applicable, yes, it is applicable. Are they followed it? Are they complied? Are they followed it? Yes, if they are not followed it, what is the remarks and all that. So this is actually the final level. And now coming to this audit and assurance standards, even auditor has its own principles. An auditor should be unbiased. He cannot take a favor. He cannot just take decisions or give us consent in line with favoring, like by favoring the business owner. Right? So he also has certain assurance standards which he has to fulfill and see that he is conducting the audit unbiased. Right? So all this information can be captured. Then talking about the working papers, as I was saying, here if you are giving any notes to the company name and all that, you can just select it and accordingly give as and when you give, it gets captured to the entire history of this audit working paper. The three areas, company, master and voucher details. Whenever you do work on that particular area, if you are feeling a note has to be made and you can accordingly select this. Right? So those other reports we have discussed, it entirely shows the display of how many were registered and a micro small. It's a projection of the report. So which all ledgers were marked as periodic ledgers and who all are related parties. What are the sampling methods you have used, and whom all you have asked for the external confirmation. Right? So you're able to follow? Then? So this is all about the section in your statutory audit. Now coming to the tax audit. So here the audit journals, before going to the tax audit journals is nothing but the closing entries what you do. If we would have done the closures, right? Moving all your creditors to the liabilities and see that the balances will move and no individual ledger balances are appearing and it has moved to the null, and here you have the option audit this journal are trying to correct them and passing final audit journals to see that the books of accounts are complete. And this financial statement, as we all know, it is a balance sheet, profit and loss, additional details information in line with the format prescribed by Ministry of Corporate Affairs, the revised Schedule 6. So this is the others. We have a separate session on this. We will be explaining you entire financial statement. Now we have discussed before moving to the financial statement what all the key areas we can take in and the owner can check on the same. Right? Now coming to this tax audit part. So we have what tax audit, it is with respect to the formalities or the rules and regulations laid and governed by the Income Tax Act. And how is this particular audit, tax audit helpful to the, as a business owner, we'll just check on this. So here if you just see, we have given the key points where is very focusing to the customer, where he has to check and read. So we have some scenarios also as coming to the audit part or the how we can have an exposure of the entire tool with certain scenarios. So we'll just check those scenarios. Hello. So here we are trying to explain the focusing point, how this particular tax audit will help us, the customers, to check on this. So if you talk about how exactly this tax audit helps, so here we have a clause or which says there are certain amounts inadmissible under section 40A subsection 3. So here it just shows us the instant generation of the aggregate of cash payments made about 20,000 and all those information. So wherein the cash payments, as we all know, exceeding 20,000, it has to be always done through a cross-check or the DD. So if you are accounted more than 20,000 cash transactions, those details it is not admissible. So they need to be checked and validated and what exactly has happened, and so that the user will not have this particular case in future. Similarly, even in case of your loans, the deposits accepting in cash more than 20,000 is a concern, they have to have a check on those and see that the correct deposits of the loans is done through the cross-check and the DD. So these are key areas where one can check on this. So we'll just move on to this particular tax audit. So as we were explaining, it has to be done in the line with the Income Tax Act. So 44AB audit, it is called under 44AB audit, wherein I need to check the entire information. So here, if you just check these, the bonus PF, ESI, receivables and all that, you can just drill down to that particular clause. It shows the entire history of this and it use this entire payroll feature and what exactly the statutory norms here, what was collected, what was deducted, contributed and what was remitted to the government, is there any delay in the payment. So all these details can be checked and it will highlight to the exceptions part here. So you can also give the payment status. So why was it delayed for any particular section? If you're filtering, you can just drill down to the details of payment and go for the sample payment status. It will allow you to give in the details here as payment, whether it is done on time or it was not on time. Accordingly, you can highlight that and try to give the correct information on the same. Right? So, as I was saying, there are various clauses involved wherein it has to be checked in. Either the transaction level itself, you can have a clauses. So, we were talking about that clause number 16, that is bonus commission. You can link the clause references and give the relevant information for the same. Right? So, this is with respect to the clause number 16. Now we were talking about the amounts debited to profit and loss account, the two sections which we are talking, inadmissible amounts. So what is this amounts inadmissible? If you just drill down to that here, as we say, the aggregate cash payment exceeding 20,000 for a day, so minimum voucher amount should be 20,000. So why it is crossed more than 20,000? Right? So all these information has to be checked in. So you can also have a filter here, cash payments exceeding 20,000. You can see how are these being checked in and audited by the auditor, internal auditor or the final auditor. So and how the respective being linked to particular clauses. Right? So this is how you can check on these various clauses we have with respect to various deposits, value-added tax, tax deducted at source and all that. Correct? So if I just drill down to this amounts debited to P&L account and I'm just checking those transactions which are inadmissible, more than 20,000. So you can link a clause here, and here, from here, the explanation, the entire history for this particular amount, we have to give through the form 3CD. So if you check here, the clause number 17, amounts debited to the profit and loss account being expenditure of capital nature. Right, here you have to give the clarity on this. So they are expenditure of personal nature. What exactly is this, the entrance fees or the subscription fees? What exactly has been going out of the business as cash, whether all these are applicable. Right, so here you can directly have an annexures for this supporting information. If you just click here, it gives the entire history of this. Expenditure of capital nature. So what are those expenditure of capital in nature? Right? So all these has to be accompanied for every statement or the consent you're trying to check these information is to have a supporting information. Okay? So here again you have an option. Select text. By default we have the user defined text if you want to enter something as per the annexures wherein the details are captured in annexures. You can just have a copy of these and it gets copied to the entire text. If nothing is applicable, this clause is not applicable, and the copy from if any other business has the same clause applicable, you can just have a copy of the same. Alright? So this is all about your tax audit part. So here payments to the specified persons, as we were saying, if they are related persons, so what exactly the payments done, all this information can be displayed. If you get into any of the statutory payments under section 43B, so here you get the clarity of output tax, the available credit and how much is paid and all that, so how many vouchers are involved. So what is the clarity for this? Just get into this form 3CD, it gives. So paid during the previous year, the amounts can be entered. So for this, pre-exit on the first day of previous year button was not allowed in the assessment year. So what is the proof for that? You have as per the annexures. If you just click here, the entire information about that can be given over here. So this acts as a supporting document. Right? So now, so here's what all you did with respect to your verification of vouchers through your stat audit and all that statutory audit. If you feel the entire information is fine and fair, we finally give the consent saying save the entire audit process and proceed for the next level of generation of reports and save audit option. Audit completed. You can give yes. If no, just give us no. And is there any clarification? You can just have a clarification entries as asked by the auditor. So this is all about your 44 AB audit. And now the main menu for generation of Form 3CD. You can just click here. So these are the entire clauses which we have studied individually about your 44 AB audit, and the relevant supporting annexures are available. Just highlight if you feel this is applicable, you can mark them as applicable. If not applicable, yes, it is applicable. What is our marks? It is as per the annexures. Now you just highlight this option and you can just go for your wherever annexures options are available. You can just drill to the annexures and see that the informations are under annexure information. Right, see, the moment you enter, it will show you the annexure details, the supporting information. And here for this, as per the description of capital assets, click on here, it shows you about what exactly the details of those fixed assets are given as a additional supporting information. Right? So now, here, if you feel this entire Form 3CD is applicable in line with the other things as you audited. If it is a similar branch company, it is the entire details similar to this. You can still have a copy of this entire information onto the other company's data, other financial year's data. Now we'll just try to print this, all three. So here we have Form 3CD printout with the signatures and along with the annexures, the entire supporting information by the consent of the entire board of directors. Just taking the printout of this. This runs 2 pages because we have given the option to print entire business. The particular clause not applicable to this business will not be allowed to print, or we will be giving an option. So this clearly says Form number 3CD, the statement of particulars required to be furnished under Section 44AB of the Income Tax Act 1961. The entire clauses, the entire information as entered for the supporting information can be checked with the entire. Alright? So in every screen we have this option of audit report. You can just have a check on this. Audit and analysis entire. You can navigate through your statutory audit and the tax audit. Right? So all three. Right? So we have the other forms also, Form 3CA and 3CB. Can just have a look of this. So it says under report, Form number 3CA, audit report under Section 44AB of the Income Tax Act, and a case where the accounts of the business of a person have not been audited under any other, have been audited under any other laws. Could be in different law auditing. And 3CB if it shows about a specific. If you have any observations given, just give this. So here it says Form number 3CB audit report under Section 44A of the Income Tax Act in case of a person referred to in Clause B of that rule of the Rule 6D, and they have to submit this report. Right? Just have the detailed mode, like as given in your subclause explanation, Alt F1, detail mode. It shows on the face of the screen. So whenever elections are required, you can just click on that and it will give you the information to enter it. Right? So we have explained you all the entire flow, how the same audit and compliance as an audit tool helps the customer to internally have a check on his data, have an internal audit and allocation of the work to his employees and get the data cleaned up and give the data, final data to the auditor for final consent from the auditor and finalization of the books of accounts and generation of the final statement, financial statements. Right? Now let us check on the queries asked. So, says, see, in this we have many partners, right, and the chartered accountants also. So, how far you are feeling this can be implemented by the customers, sir? When it is nearing to the audit period. Can you just tell us about this, sir? Because as we all know, the financial statement as per the revised schedule has to be submitted by 30th of September. So, and before that, they have to check on the entire data informations and all that and keep their data ready for audit and get it audited. And Yeah, Computer Solutions, sir. We will check with customers first about their feedback on this. Okay, sir. Fine. So, expectation is that they have to know their business transactions well and how this tool helps them to screen out the same. Right? I'm sure they would like this, but this can be done only by senior accountants or internal CAs. Exactly, sir. It is just not showing for the data entry person, right? He just does the data entry. So it is when you talk about in the planned business environment where they have everything planned or it is in line with all the standards are set and then procedure. So each and every verification gets done, right? So usually when the Tally application when we implement and all that, we just guide on their business requirement and just asking what to debit, what to credit, and what ledgers have to be created and all that. But when those chart of accounts, what we say, the ledgers or the group, has to be checked and finalized and then use them for the transactions level, and then finally what exactly, how the transactions are done, the projection of the reports, the correctness of the same and all that. Right? So any other queries, sir? So Sanjay sir was asking about the security that we will just check. It is with respect. So it's only a data entry or senior accountant, so the finance manager who is responsible will be given the authority. There is always an authentication. What is the difference between pending docs and audit and compliance and outstanding report and statement of accounts? Okay. Sir, these two questions, Mr. Ghosh has been asking about the capital expenses or receipts can be collected from accounts. Sir, see, capital expenses, if you feel that it is done for the company's betterment expenditures, right, sir? Can be collected from the account you're talking about? So it's nothing, it is it's an expenditure for your business. So you want to account, can be accounted? No, you have a journal entries for them, just accounted for your business and receipts which cannot be just taken from any of your ledger accounts. Right, sir? So we have a computer sir asking what is this pending documents and audit and outstanding report and statement of accounts. Okay, sir, you're talking about, one second, Ghost sir is asking if it has wrongly entered in the profit and loss account. Sir, see, what happens, the tool just gives an exceptions where it cannot say that it should have been some expenses. It is the users who have accounted and categorized them as a capital expenditure, correct? So if it is wrongly done, they have to drill down to that expenditure and account it accordingly, sir. Right? This goes under the section of verification of chart of accounts. Right? So, Computer Solutions are asking what is pending documents and outstanding report and statement of accounts. So, it is it is a pending, it is entirely the outstanding. We have sections over there. Pending documents include the entire information of your inventory or just dealing with the parties and all that. When we talk about the inventory, it is pending, means you have not completed, the complete cycle is not done. The outstanding for again, you have not completed it, it is pending, it shows as pending. Means you have received the amount but you have not tracked to the respective bills and you have accounted as on account. right? So even if you get into the statement of inventory, there you have the inventory related information. Statement of accounts, your accounts related information. Now coming to this audit and compliance, we have made it common as pending doc, right? Yeah, exactly, Mr. Computec. Yeah, these are the pending docs. So what all is outstanding, whether it is due from you or due to the business, whatever it is, business owner can have a clarity on a single screen, right? The account reconciliation, we need to have data from Tally, from client side. We can have data from them. Then how to do this? So that's what you can always go for just a confirmation on the same. Like you take a printout of his books and just give it him. He gives the clarity on that, and that itself is fine for proceedings, sir. Right? So thank you all for your participation. So request you all to take this to the customers and educate them and let them find value in this particular feature. Lakshmi Narayan sir, you are asking about the recorded webinar, right? So we'll just try to share this, sir. We will be mailing you the details, sir. Right? Yeah. Thank you.